My wife froze, eyes wide, mouth half open. When I said it, calm as the eye of a storm. We need to finalize the divorce by Monday, so you can enjoy your AP as a free woman. She screamed, "What are you talking about?" But I didn't flinch, just slid the folder across the kitchen table. A silent threat wrapped in damning proof. "Agree," I said coldly, "or I'll destroy you." She recoiled, like the words struck flesh. No smug smirk this time. No sarcastic jab. No performance of tears. Just stunned silence as her gaze darted through the mess I'd gathered. Screenshots, receipts, GPS trails, and that photo. Her. His Escalade. 1:46 a.m. Wyndham Hotel. Red dress she swore was for a girls' night. Rewind 40 minutes. I'd been watching her for weeks. Silent, steady, like a lion in tall grass. Her name's Amber. For 6 years, I called her my wife. People thought we had it all. Hell, so did I. Until I caught her texting someone saved as Aunt Melissa. Strange name for an aunt. Especially one who sent midnight voice notes and eggplant emojis. I felt the shift. Late nights at work. Perfect makeup. Fresh showers. A heavier perfume clinging to her skin. Her interest in my day? Gone. Her phone? Always locked. And then came the lies. I'm at yoga, though her gym bag never left the closet. I'm with Becca, while Becca was on a beach with other friends. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I played my part. The loyal husband. The fool. While inside, I burned. I started collecting proof. My buddy Dylan, cybersecurity, helped me trace her steps. Her iPad was the weak link. Hotel bookings. Routes to his house. Uber audio clips. Things she said in the dark that made my blood run cold. The worst part? I knew him. Chase Walker. My ex-colleague. The man I helped land a job. The guy who came to our barbecue and hugged my wife a beat too long. The guy who probably texted, "Thanks, bro," while buttoning his shirt in our guest room. They weren't even hiding anymore. One night, I followed her downtown. Watched her kiss him before they even made it inside. Hands clutching his neck like he was her heir. I took photos. Filmed it. Named the folder Endgame. Tonight, I struck. She came home from book club, hair tousled, lipstick smeared, heels dangling from her fingers. Tossed her purse like a queen. Didn't even look at me. "Hey, babe," she muttered. That was it. I stood up, slid the folder across the marble, and hit her with 12 words that cut deeper than any scream. Her face drained of color. Her lips moved, but no sound came. Only rustling paper and the weight of undeniable truth. There she was, wrapped around Chase in a hotel lobby, whispering how he's more of a man than boring old Ryan. That's me, Ryan, and I'm done being boring. "Where did you get this?" she asked, voice cracking. I smiled. "I know everything, Amber." Then came her defense. "Weak. Predictable. It's not what it looks like." "Cut the crap," I said. "Calm. Low. Lethal. You cheated. You lied. You made a fool of me. And then, God, this still stings," she scoffed. Looked me dead in the eye and said, "You really want to throw away our marriage over a few mistakes? Grow up, Ryan." That's when I knew. There'd be no apology. No remorse. This wasn't a slip. This was a choice. Repeated, deliberate, cruel. She didn't care. Not about me. Not about our vows. Not about the life we built. Only about the thrill. The danger. Her so-called alpha. That's what she called him once. "He's AF asterisk 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 ing alpha, Amber. You deserve better than your clingy husband. Asterisk." She was right. She does deserve Chase. She deserves the fantasy he sold her. The glittering lie wrapped in charm and ego. Because I'm about to set fire to all of it. Amber stood there, clutching the folder like it might save her, trembling, not with guilt, but fear. Panic twisted in her eyes, that cold calculation surfacing. She wasn't sorry. She wasn't broken. She was plotting. "I can explain," she said, voice quivering like it still mattered. Like I was still the fool who'd believe it. "This isn't what you think, Ryan. I've just been lonely. You've been distant, always working late. I needed someone to talk to." I laughed, sharp, bitter. "Right. So you found comfort in Chase Walker's bed." Her lips twitched. That mask of innocence cracked for a second. She wasn't ready for this version of me. I'd always been the gentle one. The easy husband. The guy who stayed silent when she made me the punchline in front of friends. The guy who bought her flowers after she exploded on me over nothing. But not tonight. Tonight I was stone. Cold. Focused. She dropped the folder, arms crossed, and I saw it. that smirk crawling back onto her face. If you're gonna act like a psycho over a few flirty nights. I slammed my palm against the counter. Don't. She jumped. Don't insult me with that garbage, I said, voice low, tight. You think I didn't notice the new perfume? The late-night meetings? The way you stopped touching me, stopped even seeing me? You think I didn't catch you slipping off your wedding ring before going out? She blinked fast, struggling to regain control. Ryan, just listen. Chase. Chase isn't who you think he is. It's not serious. It just happened. We were both lost. You weren't lost, I said. You were found. In his hotel bed. Again. And again. She turned away, muttering, "This is such bull asterisk asterisk." No, I said, stepping closer. Bull asterisk asterisk is that I was planning our anniversary trip while you were moaning his name. That I was dreaming about starting a family while you were telling him how boring I was. Her shoulders locked up. I came around the counter, stood right in front of her. Inches away. I heard everything, Amber. Your Uber rides weren't private. I heard you say you wished I'd just disappear. She didn't even flinch. Just turned to me and spat it out, raw and venomous. You were never man enough for me. And there it was. The mask ripped away. Years of passive digs, backhanded compliments, fake smiles, all of it led here. Her truth. I carried this marriage, she sneered. I made you. Without me, you're just some safe, boring IT guy. You needed me to matter. I stared at her, then leaned in and whispered, calm as death. By Monday, you'll be free of the boring IT guy. And you'll be exactly what you've always been, a liar, a manipulator. And now, a woman with nothing left to hide behind. She slapped me. Hard. I didn't flinch. Didn't even blink. Just turned and walked to the hallway. You've got 3 days to get your stuff out. Locks change Monday night. You can't kick me out of this house, she shouted. Oh, I can, I said without turning. It's in my name. So's the car you've been using to visit Chase. A vase sailed past me, shattered against the wall. The pieces scattered across the floor like the last splinters of our marriage. You'll regret this, she screamed. I stopped at the doorway. No, I regret trusting you. I regret loving you. I left her there, barefoot on broken glass, crying not because she lost me, but because she couldn't control me anymore. Upstairs, I sat on the edge of our bed. My bed. And let it hit me. The betrayal. The manipulation. The cold truth that Amber had vanished long before Chase ever entered the picture. And what I felt wasn't rage or grief, just a vast, aching emptiness. Because this wasn't just an affair. It was a dismantling, a slow erosion of dignity, of self-worth, of everything I thought we were. She looked at me like a placeholder, a fallback plan, a dull constant. And the worst part? I let her. I ignored the red flags, bit my tongue when she flirted in front of me, forgave her when she ghosted our anniversary with a half-baked lie, told myself she was just going through something. She was. She tore through my life like wildfire, and now, there she was, sitting in the ashes. I didn't sleep that night, just stared out the window as her chaos echoed from downstairs. Pacing, crying, screaming, texting, probably Chase. The destruction she'd always kept so hidden was finally out in the open, where it belonged. By morning, the house fell into a tense, suffocating quiet. Not peace, never that. This was the silence before a second storm. I walked downstairs barefoot, the air still thick with last night's stench, cheap perfume, bitter rage. Amber was curled on the couch, mascara streaked down her cheeks, wrapped in a blanket like she was the one who'd been betrayed. Like she hadn't gutted our life with a smile. She didn't speak, just stared, eyes red, hollow. I passed her without a word, grabbed my keys. I'll be back in an hour. Be gone when I return. Ryan, don't do this. I stopped, hand on the door, still not looking at her. You think I'm just gonna let you wreck my life and walk away clean? She pushed herself upright. You think you're the only one who can play dirty? There it was. Her last card. A pathetic threat dressed like a warning. I turned, slow, deliberate. Met her gaze. Do it. Try me. She held my stare, jaw tight, eyes calculating. Chase has lawyers, she said. He says you can't just kick me out. We're still married. I almost laughed. Is that the same Chase who needed me to land a job? The one driving a leased SUV and flashing a fake Rolex? She flinched. The wall around her delusion cracked. Don't talk about him like that, she snapped. He sees me. He makes me feel alive. I nodded, backing toward the door. Then go live with him. Let's see how long he enjoys the real you. I left before she could speak, drove to the cafe, and met Dylan. He slid a USB across the table. The rest of the voice memos. Some of them are brutal. I tucked it into my jacket. Doesn't matter. I heard enough. He leaned closer. You okay? I looked at him. Eyes steady. No, but I'm getting there. Back home, her car was gone. Good. I didn't go in right away. Just stood on the porch, staring at the sky, wondering how I missed it, how I didn't see her for what she was. But maybe I did. I just didn't want to. Inside, I found a note. Ryan, I'm sorry it ended like this. I never wanted to hurt you, but I couldn't keep pretending. Please remember the good times. Amber, the good times. Like when she cried on our wedding night. Not for joy, but because she forgot to text her friend back. Or when she made me cancel Christmas with my family because we need time alone, then vanished for 2 days. Yeah, real precious memories. I crumpled the note, tossed it. That evening, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. Hey man, it's Chase. My fist clenched. What do you want? I just want to talk, he said. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I didn't even know she was still with you like that. She told me you guys were separated. Bullsh****, I said. I swear. She told me you were controlling, that you were done, that she was miserable. So you took her to a hotel to cheer her up? Silence. Thought so, I said. Tell you what, Chase. You can keep her. Just know, the woman you rescued? She told me you were a rebound. A thrill. Just something to ride out until she figured out what she really wanted. Wait. What? She called you a fantasy, I said. Said she needed danger, not a man. More silence. Then, softly, she said she loved me. Yeah, I said. She told me that too. Right before she started lying. Every single day. I hung up. This wasn't just about me anymore. Chase was just another rung in her ladder. And I'd bet good money he wouldn't be the last. That night, I poured a drink and sat alone at the kitchen table, same spot where I first laid out the folder. The silence was heavy now. Not just absence, but clarity. The house felt different. Still, empty, but clean. Clean of her perfume, her noise, her lies. But I wasn't free yet. Not completely. As much as I wanted to believe she was gone, she wasn't. Not really. Her voice still echoed in my mind. Her laugh from brighter days. Her dumb little jokes that used to make me smile. The way she'd trace circles on my arm when we watched TV, like I was her whole world. It all felt like a dream I'd woken from too late. But beneath the hollow ache, something else stirred. Not rage. Not sorrow. Clarity. She was never mine. Not truly. Just a wildfire passing through, sampling everything, scorching everyone. But I survived. And now, I was ready to build something untouched by her chaos. The next morning, I went to the lawyer's office. Sleep had been impossible. I'd spent the night staring at the ceiling, watching old memories dissolve like mist. My thumb hovered over the favorites tab on my phone. Her name used to live there. Not anymore. Mark Davidson, my lawyer, was a bulldog in a blazer. Calm. Sharp. He slid the divorce papers across the table. All we need is her signature. Based on what you've shown me, this won't be a fight. Unless she's dumber than she looks. She's arrogant, I said. She'll try something. He nodded once. Then we hit harder. I left with the papers in a leather folder and a new sensation blooming in my chest. Control. Like I was finally stepping back into my own skin after weeks of crawling in someone else's nightmare. But when I pulled up to the house, my breath caught. Her car was there. So was his. Chase. That spineless, hollow coward. I parked down the street, pulse thudding in my ears, and walked the rest. Slow. Measured. A shadow behind the blinds moved. Voices filtered through the walls. I stepped through the door, calm and quiet. No slamming. No yelling. Just presence. The kind of silence that cuts deeper than any scream. They were in the living room. Amber stood with her arms folded, like she was about to deliver a monologue. Chase sat on my couch, legs spread like he belonged. Didn't expect you back so soon, she said, tilting her head with that old smirk, the one that used to undo me. Now it made my skin crawl. I bet, I said. I pulled the folder out and tossed it onto the table. We're signing this today. Hold on. Chase started, but I sliced the air with my voice. You don't get to talk. He shut up. Amber laughed, short and sharp. You think you can walk in here giving orders? After what you did? Spying? Invading my privacy? I raised an eyebrow. You had your affair in our bed. Privacy. She rolled her eyes. This again. Every day until it ends. I said. Sign the papers, Amber. Chase stood up, puffed up. She needs time. I stepped closer. Calm. Unshaken. Time's up. Amber glanced between us. And for the first time, her mask cracked. Ryan, you're being hostile. No, I said. I'm being free. I picked up the folder, pulled out the papers, and held out the pen. You sign, and you walk. No drama. No lawyers. No court dates. Just you, Chase, and whatever motel soap opera you want to live out. She hesitated, then asked, I want the car. I smiled. You'll get your dignity, if you can find it. Her hand trembled slightly as she scribbled her name. No hesitation. No reading. Just surrender. Chase shifted, looking smaller now. He thought I'd beg, break, maybe even fight for her. But not this version of me. When she was done, she dropped the pen. Now what? Now, I said. You pack your crap, and both of you leave. She looked at Chase. He was already moving. Already done with the fantasy. Maybe he didn't like this side of her either. Wait, she said, voice softer now. That's it. You're not even going to try. I laughed. Low. Hollow. Try to fix what? You torched the bridge, Amber. You lit the match and danced in the flames. She looked at me like I was someone she'd never met, then walked past, perfume trailing behind her like a ghost. By evening, they were gone. The house was quiet again, but this time, it didn't feel heavy. It felt clean. I sat on the back porch with a beer, watching the sky bleed orange, free, finally, as the sun slipped below the horizon. For the first time in months, I wasn't bracing for impact. I wasn't numb. I wasn't shattered. I was alive. It's strange how pain fades just enough to let clarity seep in. I hadn't failed. I'd simply believed, too much, too deeply, in someone who never truly saw me. Her voice still echoed faintly in the walls. Her silhouette still flickered in the hallway. But now, they were nothing more than echoes. Dust waiting to be swept away. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. If you think you've won, you haven't. Amber. I stared at it, then deleted it. She doesn't get to live in my head anymore. The days that followed were quieter than I expected. No tantrums. No theatrics. No surprise visits or screaming voicemails. Just silence. At first, it felt unnatural, like the pause before a second, crueler act. I kept waiting for the trapdoor. For Amber to claw her way back. For Chase to show up with puffed chest and empty threats. But nothing happened. Until Wednesday. I was coming back from the gym when I saw it. A sleek silver BMW idling across the street from my house. Windows blacked out. Engine off. Just sitting there. I parked a few doors down, watched for a minute, then walked home like I hadn't noticed. As I reached the porch, the car crept forward, then rolled away, slow, deliberate. It wasn't her car. I'd memorized hers like a scar. This one was different. Borrowed, maybe. Or stolen. I called Dylan. You think she's watching me now? I asked. He paused. Wouldn't surprise me. Her type doesn't let go easy. They don't want closure. They want control, even when they're the villain. Good, I said. Let her watch. Let her see what freedom looks like. I started changing things around the house. Not to erase her, but to reclaim it. Painted the bedroom. Ripped down the curtains she loved. Packed our wedding photos into a box and labeled it evidence of blindness. And by Saturday, something new sparked in my life. A date. Her name was Haley, friend of a friend. Warm, bright, honest. She knew I was fresh out of a relationship meltdown and still met me for coffee. We sat by the window, shared stories, laughter, everything but Amber. It felt normal, real. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. You really think I'm gonna let you flaunt some slut while I'm still picking up the pieces? I showed Haley. She smirked. You've got yourself a crazy one, huh? I married her, I said. She laughed, a sound that felt like oxygen. For the first time in a long time, I felt human. But when I got home, the crazy had reached DEFCON 1. The front door was wide open. Heart thudding, I stepped inside. Kitchen lights on. Hallway dark. And there, standing in the living room like she belonged, was Amber. What the hell are you doing here? She turned, slow and practiced. Makeup flawless. Hair curled. Like she was starring in a reunion episode of a show I'd already canceled. We need to talk, she said. No, we don't. She stepped forward. I know I hurt you. I know I lied. But that doesn't mean we can't. We can't, I cut in. Because there is no we. There's you. There's me. And there's a crater where trust used to be. She blinked, caught off guard by the wall that wouldn't move. I miss you, Ryan, she whispered. I made a mistake. One. I asked. Which one? Which hotel? Which lot? She looked away. And for a moment, just a flicker, I saw it. Regret. Not for what she did, but for losing control. For losing me. Then the venom slithered back in. You think that girl's gonna fix you? She snapped. She's a rebound. A placeholder. She doesn't know the real you. I laughed. Right in her face. You didn't know me. You only ever knew what I let you use. Her expression twisted. I built this life with you. No, I said, voice steady. You stole pieces of it. And now, you're trespassing. I'm not leaving until we finish this. We did finish this. You signed the papers. She grabbed her purse and hurled it at the wall. It hit hard. You're not better than me, Ryan. You're just better at hiding it. Maybe, I said. But at least I didn't betray everything I swore to protect. She stared at me, like she didn't recognize the man in front of her. Good. Because that man, he's finally free. She stormed out. No apology, no tears. Just the sharp, staccato beat of her heels stabbing the floor as she left. I followed her out only long enough to lock the door. Double-bolted it. Then I sat down and exhaled. Really exhaled. Like I hadn't breathed properly in years. I didn't feel like a winner. I didn't feel triumphant. But I felt done. And sometimes, done is enough. It's the first step toward becoming something new. Sunday morning, I stood in the kitchen pouring coffee into a chipped old mug, the one she always hated. Said it looked cheap. I kept it. Not out of nostalgia, but because now, I got to choose for myself. The house was still. Peaceful in a way that used to feel like a fantasy. No tension humming in the walls. No careful tiptoes or silent battles. Just silence. Beautiful, healing silence. I sat on the back porch, coffee warm in my hand, watching sunlight stretch across the yard. And for the first time, I wasn't haunted. Her laughter didn't echo. Her perfume didn't linger. The ghosts had finally left with her. I was free. Then my phone buzzed. I still think about us. About what we had. I wish it didn't end like this. Amber. I stared at it. And then, I deleted it. No anger. No reply. Because that part of me, the one that used to ache for her, that starved for her approval, is gone. Burned out. Buried beneath the wreckage she left behind. And in its place? Peace. It took being humiliated to find the truth. To see that I'd been loving someone who treated me like a spare tire. A backup plan. A lifeline until something shinier came along. But I survived her. And that's everything. In the weeks that followed, I started living again. Not just existing, living. I reconnected with old friends. Hiked trails I'd long forgotten. Slept through the night without jolting awake to silence that felt like judgment. I even saw Haley again. A few times. No expectations. No masks. Just real talk. Laughter over bad movies. Meals that didn't taste like tension. Whatever it turns into, or doesn't, it's honest. And for now, that's enough. One night, I pulled out the folder. The divorce folder. The photos. The receipts. The recordings. The so-called evidence. I didn't need it anymore. It was dead weight. Proof of a battle I'd already won. So I lit the fire pit. And one by one, I fed it every lie she told. Every moment she twisted. Every snapshot of betrayal. Watched it all curl into smoke. Watched my pain turn to ash. When it was over, I just sat there. Alone. Listening to the fire crackle. To my own breath. Still here. Still standing. Stronger. Smarter. Finally whole. And if you're reading this, if you've been there, or you're still there, listen closely. Don't beg anyone to love you right. Don't stay loyal to someone who punishes your silence. Don't try to fix what they keep breaking on purpose. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And if they burn your world to the ground, rebuild. Better. Without them.